The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. And we are back. It's four of us. I am your host, Kris, joined by Besty, Deka, and Mark. Three of us have just went and watched the club Crest workshop. But we'll get onto that a little bit later. We'll talk about the Newcastle v Arsenal game to start with. Mark, I'm going to start with you.
Hello. Good evening.
Kris, can I start with something else?
Yeah.
You know how since Mark broke that light?
Yes.
Right, and Mark's been on holiday.
Yes.
I've seen how different we are in colour, me and Mark. Because I'm in front of this light here and I'm pasty white. He's sitting there.
But he has been on holiday.
To be fair, I have been in Lanzarote.
No, I said that as well. He's been on holiday as well, but it's different. Get that light out there or something, because this is ridiculous. I'm dead.
You do look very pasty to be fair.
I'm not about colour, are they?
Yeah, you do look pasty. Mark has got a glowing tan.
Yes, he looks wonderful.
Mark, where did you watch the match?
In an Irish bar in Porta del Carmen.
All right, okay, nice.
It's probably called Murphy's or something like that. I can't actually remember what it was called, but yeah, pleasant.
Nice
Pleasant
trip
enough.
away.
That might have been where I watched the Villa game there.
There was a fair few Newcastle. Well, there was like 6 other ones that were staying where I was staying.
Did you go do a podcast?
So we all
You had a secret meeting with them before.
so we all went down. There was some other ones in there, and there was 5 Arsenal fans in as well, so that was all. It was all right.
Okay,
it's good natured.
The game itself, it was kind of a game of two halves, really. Newcastle, I thought, dominated definitely the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're just, I'm going to say we couldn't take with chances, and I'm going to put a pinch of salt in that as well, because let's face it, man of the match was their goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
What a first half performance he had.
Yeah, he absolutely kept them in that.
From a shot stopping perspective, definitely. Yeah, he's given the ball away cheaply a few times, but the saves he made, the one from Dan Burns' header where he gets his hand down with, just anticipates where it's going to go.
Yeah,
I thought the one from the deflected Barnes shot was excellent as well, because it's right in the corner of that.
Yeah, so my thoughts on it were the first half, I thought the game plan was meant from us that we let them have the ball, that a lot of possession, but my word, we hit them on the break and had all the best chances in that first half. I will come on to Pope save in a second.
We had an excellent shape when they were in possession as well.
Like really good.
5-4-1.
Yeah. I thought, if I think about them chances individually, I think the one that we could have done better on was the Bruno one. In terms of the finish, I thought the finish was quite poor, if I'm honest.
Great.
I feel like the Dan Burn one, there's nothing more Dan Burn can do at all.
He just needs to get that on target.
The Barnes one's really, to be fair, is a shit shot, but it takes a deflection, so there's not really much. You could say Barnes could have a better shot, but I just feel in terms of the clear cut, I thought the Bruno one was the one.
Typical Bruno finish, though.
It was, wasn't it?
A bit powder puffy. He never really.
You can't seem to have a good connection with the ball, can he?
He's got no power, like.
No. Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do. He's kind of trying to bend it around, but he just doesn't connect cleanly with it to generate enough power.
And then Inspector Gadget there, this hand just seemed to come from nowhere and then just woof, like
the one
where
he saved it and then he cleared it off the line, all in one go. It just,
and we got in some dangerous. I think Tino got in a great position. Got a bit of a nosebleed when he got there.
He's not the bloke you want, is he?
No, he does fantastic work to get there.
Yeah,
and then seems to go to pieces a little bit. But I thought the first half would definitely, and I worried that like if we don't take any, sometimes when you don't take them chances, you always have that feeling that they might get one. Obviously, sadly, it happened. Like
I would normally feel exactly the same, Deka, when that's why I said with a pinch of salt in regards to not taking with chances, because there were some decent shots in there. Like you've just gone through them all. It's not like we're just throwing it straight at the keeper every single time.
No,
the keeper was making some fantastic saves, Besty. I thought. Yes, the first half would dominate that, and it was Gary Neville on core comms, and he kept mentioning saying Newcastle looked like the dangerous team then, despite not having the possession. They look unbelievably dangerous at going forward.
Yeah.
Arsenal comes out second half, in the first 20 minutes of the second half, there was a slight change to formation, but Newcastle just couldn't get back into it from that first 20 minute spell in the second half.
You kind of expect that though, don't you?
We couldn't touch a ball.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that I think we put so much into the first half that just like energy, this point in the season, 37 games in, 36 and a half games in, I suppose it was, league games, at least technically at that point. Like, you put that much in the first half and you play on the front foot that much, even though you give Arsenal the ball, but you're breaking the way you are. It's a little bit of a game of chance where you think, well, if you don't score in the first half, the second half's all that much harder. And that's when Arsenal grew into it more. And even the goal came from a mistake by Gordon. And it was a really good finish by Rice. Like, Pope's got no chance with it. Other than that, Arsenal didn't. I can't think Pope doing. It was really good save from the party header in the first half.
Yeah.
It was really good. That was Schmeichel-esque.
He didn't have to make a save from open play.
Is that right?
Apart from obviously the one which we conceded, that he doesn't make a save from open play.
He'll be getting blamed by some people in that case. That happened last week as well.
He's not far off it as well, you know. Really,
it's a good effort. It's just a good finish by Declan Rice. You kind of expect that. He's got a lot of time to pick the shot out. Like, he comes from deep in. There's like,
he loves that sort of hit as well.
Yeah, he does. I mean,
he just lets it come across, doesn't he?
He uses the kind
great
of
finish.
momentum. It's a good finish, and it is. But that was the difference. Like, we even towards the end when Willock came on, I thought he had a couple of good little runs. Was that one shot that he put over the top? I think he's picked the wrong option, to be honest with you. Was in the second half, Tonali stood on the ball and fell over. Then Bruno slipped and fell over in the box. And it's those little things where you go, like, if we can just keep on the ball, recycle it, get a shot away, maybe. That's kind of where you might.
I thought a bit wasteful.
I thought the Willock one was really frustrating because he got in a great area.
He did well to get there, did really well.
There was obviously players to his right to maybe try and pass it to, but I also thought if you're going to shoot, which he did, you've got to go across the keeper.
Yeah.
Because if you do scuff your shot, that then becomes a cross. If you do hit the target, the keeper more than likely is going to palm it. But he blazed it, so the goalkeeper is sort of near side, if that makes sense, and just obviously blazed it wide. I was just. I
think why he's taking that shot, because the keeper's expecting to go across the goal there. The keeper's expecting, because that's the percentage shot, if you want to call it that. Like, more likely is he's going to go across. So, me being a natural finisher, sometimes that's the option I would pick as well, where you hit it towards, like, high and hard towards the keeper's near post. He's not going to save it if it's on target.
It's more difficult for the keeper, isn't it?
It is, because again, the keeper's going to anticipate his weight's going towards his left. But it wasn't very well executed. Well, I thought Willie did okay when he came on. He did get forward a couple of times, cause a bit of bother. It was a tight game. Like I was saying to Kris earlier, we got beat a narrow away defeat to the team that have now finished second in the Premier League this season. Like, so
it's extremely tight. When you look at the stats and stuff like that, there was nothing in it. We were very, very even across the piece.
I thought a draw was a favourite. Perhaps even us winning the game, I thought was a favourite.
I think that's probably right to say. I wouldn't say it goes as far as to say we dominated the first half, but I'd certainly say that we had the better of the dangerous chances. That we should really have been ahead at half time, but a bit of a mixture of, kind of like you say, the Bruno shot. Barnes didn't connect brilliantly this, but their keeper Reyes made 3 or 4 excellent saves. He'll never have a nerve. And it was the first quarter of an hour, really, as well, most of it.
He's a good keeper, him.
He's a good keeper.
He's terrible with his feet, though.
He wasn't great.
He does a lot of mistakes.
The amount of times he just passed the ball straight away.
Well, which one was it?
That's how it was scored the last time, the last fixture, wasn't it, in one of the cup games? Because he was trying to play out from the back.
That was the second one.
That was a pressing, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, press Rice. Yeah.
But there was one where he passes it straight out to Tonali, which will have a good chance.
Was that one with Bruno's?
That was a
Bruno's, yeah. And then I want to say he passes it out again to Bruno and maybe one to Murphy as well. So
those 2 in a row in quick succession where he just passes to one of our lads. But like it just, you know what is it? It just, we haven't even mentioned Isak not being available either, but we'll talk about him in just a second. It just shows you like how far we've came as a football club now, where we're challenging with Arsenal for that second spot. Then we'll go away from the Emirates on the back of a 1-0 defeat where stats are pretty even throughout, and we could have easily won that game. And you're looking at the way Arsenal were playing in the second half, Deka, and the ball was barely in play. Like the amount of time wasting, and there's
Arsenal don't do that, man. Arsenal don't waste time
now. But the shithousery which we were seeing from Arsenal, which is something they used to kick off about us doing, it's flipped now.
Yeah, I think there's so much that I felt after the game in sort of that pride, or almost pinching myself, thinking you're going into the game here where you've got a possibility of coming out of it second top of the league with a game to go. And like, how many times have we went down to the likes of an Emirates or Stamford Bridge or wherever it may be, and you just get rolled over, like literally like 4-1s and 5-1s.
Last season was 4-1.
It was actually, wasn't it? Yeah. There's so many times we've just been rolled over by teams, but now you know. Listen, you might lose a game of football, but you've got your mind's telling you we'll be okay. We'll make a good account of ourselves. And yesterday we really did that. You can look back and be critical of the finishing and stuff, but overall we were class, I thought. To be honest.
And we did it without 4 first-team starters.
Yeah,
both
good
full
point on
backs.
that,
You would expect that
So Trips,
would have been in
Hall,
there.
Joelinton,
Trips,
and
Hall,
Isak.
Joelinton and Isak. Yeah,
And I still losing Joelinton and Isak's difficult. Difficult. I mean, so important player, especially Isak, of course. I mean, Wilson, no offense. It was like a soccer raid performance from him, I thought. It's horrendous.
I think that's a bit harsh.
He was horrendous. I said it last week and I'll say it again. The Sula should be getting on ahead of him because he's more game, he's faster. And I know people say he's young and he's raw. I'd rather have young and rawness than that. Now, it's a difficult ask because Saliba, they're a fantastic defensive unit, Arsenal. I understand it's difficult. But there's a sell-by identity.
I didn't think he was that bad in the first half. I thought he held the ball up well. He was involving other players. Again, he's just as we've seen Isak in the last few games, he's completely isolated.
Yeah.
But he was battling for it and doing that. I did think once they made the 2 changes at centre half, I thought, we've got a chance here.
Yeah.
And it actually went the other way. And that probably would have been the moment to bring a Sula in and get those fresh legs at him. Because in the limited time that he did come on and play, he did look. I mean,
he'll cause anyone trouble, right? Because
he's unpredictable, isn't he?
He's unpredictable. His game is out, man. He chases everything down.
Strong.
He is. He chases a lot.
I'm still not having it, you know. I'm still not having it.
I think he's great, mate. He chases.
Did you not think, even in that brief time that he came on, that he was more threatening? We'll say.
I think the one thing I really remember him doing was fouling Rhea in injury time for no reason, and that let him run the clock down. I'm thinking, just don't touch him. You don't need to do it. He's got the ball. Rhea's got the ball, and Sula just runs into the back of him. He goes straight down. Don't do it. You don't. Was that when it was that big? The scuffle thing? Was that not? No. That was before then. Before then, it was the right hand side of the box is where we're attacking. Rhea picks the ball up.
Oh, that was never a foul in a million years.
It's not a foul.
Rhea actually kicks a Sula and he goes down holding his leg.
But just don't give him the option. You know, we've just told you about what Arsenal are. That they take longer to get the ball back in play than any other team in the Premier League, in spite of Arteta's protestations and all that. You don't need to do that. It's stupid.
Yeah, but the referee didn't give anything.
I've seen, but you've given them the option. You've given Rhea the chance to go down.
There's
no reason.
He doesn't do anything there.
He does. He bumps.
Rhea takes the ball. Goes down, collects it, then he starts holding his shin, and Fabian Shaw goes over and starts
pulling up.
Yeah.
And it's because Rhea actually kicks into Asula and goes down. Asula does nothing wrong there at all.
He does. There's no reason to do what he does. Asula doesn't need to be anywhere near the keeper. The keeper's got the ball. Asula can stop his running and just go right there. Get on with it.
He was standing still.
He wasn't standing still at all.
He does not go into Rhea at all. Rhea goes into him.
They have a drink when you watch again. They do that. That's all.
Well, I did. Well, I'm clearly. I'm not, because I was going off it at that. There's not a chance in hell Asula does anything wrong there. Fuck off! Get up!
Was there any Arsenal fans in the pub with you?
Yeah.
Oh, was it alright with it?
Yeah, they were fine.
I just wondered if there'd be any cracking.
Nah, they were fine. They were even having a bit chat on and stuff like that, and saying they were surprised how good we'd be in this season.
Any of them know Deka?
Apparently one of them sits next to him.
That took longer than I thought, to be honest with you.
But no, they were pretty complimentary in fairness. They hate Joelinton though. Absolutely hate Joelinton.
Yeah, because he's always an absolute shithouse and just steamrolls their players, which is fantastic to see.
I mean, it would have been that foul at the back post that they probably know about. We all know it got given, but it was a foul. It was a foul.
Yeah.
Actually, they didn't mention that goal, which I'm surprised.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I thought it was a great performance. Like Mark said, missing 4 of your key players as well. Let's argue. Even though there is a discussion I have about Trips, where I was all for Tino starting earlier on in the season, but since Trips has came back, he's looked fantastic. So throwing him into the mix as well with the 4. It just makes it a bit painful going in that last game of the season, Deka, where yes, it's still in our hands. It's only Man City that can leapfrog, isn't it now? Because they play on Wednesday.
Got 2 games.
So
they can leapfrog into 3rd.
Between now and last game.
Then you go into the last game, and there's 4, 5 teams sat on the same number of points. Yes, we've got a fantastic goal difference.
Certainly over Villa.
Yes. Really, all we need to do is get a
45,
result.
I think, and then the rest are on 65, and then 66.
And it's Asula standing still there. Look.
Oh, here we go.
Besty has shown us the Asula challenge. We're going to put it as until I say it.
Challenge. I'll let Kris tell us from here.
So Miley plays back it to Burn. Then Burn goes across to
30 seconds
Nolly, I'm guessing. That is. My eyes aren't that great. Then
It's really
that's
that important. Like
Tino's in the middle of the field. Jeez, how far back did he go?
I think
is this like from kickoff or something?
So
It's Henry and Burke
right,
out
Miley's
here.
played it up the top now. Riaz came out. Sula's chasing it. Yeah, he doesn't need to do that. Like, it's soft, but he doesn't need to do it. Like, it's Riaz picking that up all day long. He just needs to run for it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway.
But anyway.
So
Mark.
what was the question again?
So we're going into the last game of
Yes.
the season. Yes, it's a home fixture.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's Arsenal. It's Everton coming.
Yeah.
Or Everton
So-
coming to spoil the party.
Well, Pickford will want to. There's no doubt about that, right?
Can we just say now?
Can
Can we
do.
just pack that in with the whole Pickford? Not you, but fans
Oh, no,
getting on Pickford's back. We mentioned a couple.
It's not going to
Absolutely not.
happen. It's not going to happen.
Absolutely not. Why?
What really?
Well, it's not going to happen, is it? Though it's not. It's not.
It's
I
the
get
same as
the
the still thing Shearer turned it down against Man United. It's never going to.
Yeah,
as long as
but it
Pickford's
should
playing
stop
against
though,
it,
shouldn't it? really?
It's gonna, yeah,
Dude, he's going to get called a sad Mac. And
No, it's not just that. It's like the dinosaurs in the crowd and stuff
Yeah,
like
he'll be
that
back,
as
yeah,
well.
100%,
Like,
yeah. So he will be 100% up for this game, wanting to stop us from
he
qualifying
had a
for
fine the last time.
whatever we can qualify. The saving grace is right. If we were playing at Goodison, it would have been the last. Obviously, I know it's already happened, but it would have been the last game at Goodison. We're in huge trouble, in my opinion, because they would have been massively up for it. There's a chance, I believe, if Wolves get a result or whatever happens with the Wolves game, Everton can't move, win, lose, draw, or anything. They can't move position. So that's another positive. So really, I think we could really turn up here and blow the doors away.
And they've just had their farewell at Goodison
that?
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So they've just hit the highs of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Highs and the lows
emotionally
recently,
after
Yeah.
that, it's
So you think, right, they've had their little party at home. That they might just not be asked coming to St James's Park now.
I don't think Moyes will allow that in terms of not being asked, but you're definitely not going to get. You're going to get 10%, even 15% less out of them. You just are.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
think
You just are.
that's the thing. That's what I thought as well. Like they had that big thing at Goodison yesterday, and that was what their season was building towards. They're safe. If they had to get a result to stay up or qualify for Europe, I would give Moyes. I think Moyes would have them up for it.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think with the season being what it's been, they're safe. They've overturned the points kind of deficit that they had and all that. I think that 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is, less that they'll be given next week. They're on holiday.
Bar Pickford. Nobody cares about that.
Nah. I don't think so. That some of their fans do a little bit. They've got the old because that's just how it is these days.
I mean, it's unfair on the fans, technically, isn't it? They're coming all the way up here, and the players will be on the
They
beach.
never
But
come.
we've been there before. Where
Not be many of them. Never
No.
is.
anyone watching Monday Night Football, by the
Terrible
way, most goal involvements. Just look at who's at the top.
What you can't see is there's another slide coming, and Jacob Murphy's actually top of the list.
Andy Cole, absolute best.
Let's have a chat about Isak, Mark. So Isak missing the game, which was kind of a shock
Surprise,
to everybody, not even in the squad. Do you think he's probably just been rested for this one and think, right, we'll just go in the Everton game?
I mean,
I'm saying rest.
we've
What
said
I mean by that
Couldn't
is
play for his parent club.
yeah, he's already signed. He's
we've
already
said
signed
for
Arsenal.
weeks he hasn't looked right, haven't we?
Yeah,
you know, everybody that's been watching him just can see that he hasn't been quite 100%. So I think it's just got to a point where, because I mean, there's been no whispers. He'd been in training this week and stuff like that. So everybody expected him to kind of be in there. So you maybe thought, oh, is this one of Howe's little white lies that he likes to tell sometimes? But the fact that he did miss out changed our game plan a little bit.
Do you think it would have made a difference?
I mean, if Besty's auntie had tits, who knows? It's.
I think so. Yeah.
I think some of the chances were created. I think if he's in that position, you'd expect him to maybe, particularly the Bruno one. You know, if he's in a situation like that, you'd think he's maybe more likely to put that away than Bruno is. Position wise, he'd probably take up similar ones to Wilson, where the ball's kind of dropping in and around the box. Wilson was close to little like tap-ins and stuff like that. The way the balls were dropping, it just wasn't coming into his area. So it could have made the difference, but it's all in hindsight afterwards, isn't it? But you'd rather have him there than not, which is what we've been saying over the last few weeks, even when he hasn't been quite fit. So you just hope he's, that missing the game this weekend, because it was just maybe a bit of a knock. It'll make that difference for him on Sunday, and he's going to be back and available on the pitch. You've made a right mess of that.
Deka's just poured a Guinness, everybody. And Jesus Christ, I've
We've done it so badly.
That is the worst ever.
I know why.
You
Because
just leave the can in.
no, there was too much Guinness left off the first one. Hence, now I've spilled over.
Oh, so you hadn't finished the first can?
Like, it was there was just a little bit left, and I thought I could just squeeze it in there and realize the glass doesn't get bigger for us.
No, it doesn't. There's not. That's what she said.
Isak would have made a bit of a difference. I'm not even going to say for the chances that we created, because them chances may never have happened.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Just feel that, especially in the first half when we were breaking away in such a positive way, it would have been nice to have him there. Like, but it is what it is.
But on the opposite, he hasn't made that difference in the last games when he has been playing.
And he did travel, Besty. Apparently, there's a couple of comments that came in saying that Isak did travel yesterday, and it was a late call for him not to be in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, it'd been rumoured from yesterday morning, maybe it's even early in the weekend. Actually, I can't remember exactly when the first time was that I heard about the possibility that he'd miss the game. I think I kind of agree with Mark in that. I think with Wilson, you don't really want him going outside the width of the box. So you want Wilson to be in the middle for any chances that pop up. Where Isak does drift wide a bit, and in doing so, you get Barnes go to the middle sometimes, or Gordon, or whoever's on the wings. So I think it's a different game. Those early chances you might not get, but you might get other chances elsewhere. But I hopefully, with it being such a late call, because Howe said he's growing that he felt fine during training. It was afterwards. After training, he said it was a bit not quite right, and he went for a scan. And the scan said, "Right, you can't really play."
Had swelling on the
Somewhat
groin.
along those lines.
Too much wine.
That can happen.
We all.
That can happen over the weekend. But yeah, hopefully it was just a precautionary thing, and if
Do you think we'll see him against Everton? Best?
yeah, okay. I mean that's through hope more than expectation. But my hope is that they've said if you play against Arsenal, you might not play against Everton, but we're more likely to get a result against Everton. So just keep them, get wrapping cotton wool and all that, carry on. Get them out walking the dogs, and then just get
Not
them
too
running.
vigorously, though.
No, you don't. Nothing too vigorous this week for Alex. And then hopefully next weekend you'll be a bit more fresh,
Hat-trick.
and you'll be kind of champing at the bit.
Fire us into the Champions League.
And he's farewell for St James's Park. He'll be back.
There's been a few of them this weekend. Obviously not at St James's
He'll
Park.
be back next season in a red shirt and all that. I think he'll stay. Like I don't think there's any.
100%.
I think he'll stay. I think
Especially heard us here first.
Especially if we're finishing the Champions League. We're guaranteed Europa League now, which I mean at least because only one of Chelsea or Forest can catch with.
Yeah.
So we can't finish.
And Palace obviously won the FA Cup on Saturday.
That's great. I'm really happy.
Lovely
with
to see
that coming.
Yeah.
Lovely to see.
But yeah, so at least I mean, if the worst case scenario we're in Europa League next season, which is that degree of glamour, whatever you want to call it, more than the Conference League. So if it's about keeping players interested in who are already here, who want to play for the club, there's that, I mean, the Europa League's a better sell than the Conference League. I think we all have always said that. But the Champions League's a one. Like, and I'd rather finish top 5, obviously. But like, if the worst happens and we finish 6th, but we've won a cup, I think that's still a really, really
What's your confidence levels now? I think last week we did out of 10, didn't we? About getting a Champions League place.
Was that 7 or 8? So I think
you were 7.
7 now as well. To be
Same?
honest with you, yeah,
Okay.
Maybe it's 8. I don't
So you've
think.
gone up in confidence with one game to go.
Well, we played well. We played really
10.
well.
You know what it is?
Oh, yeah.
We're in no different position now than we were before Sunday.
It's just
It's
just a
still
pity that,
within our hands. We can still qualify. We've just got to win our game.
it's just a pity that like results elsewhere, like Villa won, Forest won, Chelsea won.
Well, went against we really, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, I've had it the other week before where they went for us.
Yeah, it's the
didn't
first
they?
weekend. It's the first weekend in a while where everything's gone the wrong way.
We've had
We-
loads in the season when it's gone forward. It's
We'll
just a
take
pity
care.
that obviously last weekend was still the chance that Villa might drop points against whoever it was.
I was going to mention, I don't know I don't think I've spoken to you about this, but I said it to a few people that, like, say we beat Arsenal, right, and we finished second.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had the opportunity to finish second, and then let's say we carried on and did that. Like, from us on this table, right, other than when Kris wanted Howard, us four, like, I would say quite, what's the word? Realistic. Maybe sometimes I'm not, but, like, if we finish second and win a cup, my worry was, and I kept saying this to people, our fans and the media and stuff would be like, oh, well,
Challenging for the title next season.
you've got to progress.
There's been some of that talk.
And
We've
I've
already
seen that this
been some of that
season.
talk
And
over the past few weeks.
exactly this season we've seen. So if you want to be better than second and winning a cup, you got to win
Last
the thing.
season, somebody else who wanted Howe said this season was a disaster.
I feel if we didn't get
if
European
you didn't
football,
Yeah.
If you didn't get Europe, yeah.
which I
Yeah.
stand by it.
And so I think us not, and me personally, of course, I I don't think this because I want to finish second. I always want the best that we can finish. But in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe not finishing second just pumps the brakes on people having because I just imagine that if we're fourth and they're like, well, hang on, we were second last season, this isn't good. Like, you know what I mean? People are mad.
No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah,
if anybody does have any questions, send them through. We'll go through as many as possible tonight. I don't think we've had any so far, so we'll just keep chatting until then.
That's a good sign.
The state of that pint, man.
Somebody has said the state of that pint.
You're getting not so bad now.
No, it looks all right now.
It's fantastic now.
Most of it's on the table.
No,
like,
just any pint. Oh God, that was one bad thing of drinking it in an Irish bar. Watching the match in an Irish bar.
What?
The amount of Guinness nonsense that were there.
Oh, wow.
Splitting the G in that.
Ridiculous.
Mm.
Why? I just don't get it.
It's just
drinking Guinness.
Why
it's
get?
it's a nice drink.
It's awful. It's not nice.
Nah,
at
Guinness
all.
is fine.
It's
Lovely.
horrendous.
All right.
It's a lovely drink. Man.
Awful.
So sorry, I didn't ask how confident you were, Mark. Not as a person about getting challenges, because we know that's a 10.
I've seen him wear no tracksuit bottoms. That takes some confidence. That
I think I was probably about a 7.
Yeah.
Last. I'm a good 8 or 9 now. Like.
So I'm the only one at 10.
I'm probably about a 7.
It's that whole Everton.
Horse.
It's that whole Everton
wagon.
bogey.
When did
thing,
you get
isn't it?
home?
That's what it is. It's not long
It's
ago.
that whole horse.
We're talking about Arsenal. It's the Everton bogey thing,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
God.
In Pickford, like there's a narrative there.
Is it that much of a bogey thing though? I know that we've beaten them. We've beaten 4-1.
I think they're building. I think they're building.
At our place, we've got a reasonable record. We draw get beat last season.
Until that game where we proper rattled them.
Mm.
That
that was about 7 years ago, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Was Rondon got
Rafa was there, man. Perez.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It's
That,
on-
yeah.
And then he's been
all right since.
he's been good since
Yeah, he's
then.
been all right.
So
Listen, man.
I don't know. I just think that they
blow the doors off.
the last game of the season, the fact that we have to go out there and win. War flags are getting pumped up for everybody for it, putting on a big display.
Oh, I've not seen it.
They've announced that last night or this morning, whenever I've seen it. Weatherspoons is opening at 7:30 in the morning for everybody to go and get the breakfast and several pints before the start.
What time's kick off? I think 3:30 kick off or something.
4:30.
4:30. So,
To open up, so everybody needs to be out at 9 a.m. at the very latest. Just get absolutely tanked up so that the atmosphere is absolutely rocking. Bring it to them.
Bank holiday weekend as well.
Exactly. You've got no issue. You've got the next day off.
I'm getting like
working the next day.
I'm
so.
getting like borderline like we got relegated and we played Spurs.
The 5-1, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of game. I honestly think we're just going to blow them away. Like.
If we get a nice
recent.
early goal,
I think
let's just go to town.
Set about and get a couple of early goals and then just enjoy the drama happening elsewhere.
And Besty, this is a team that we've said for a fair few weeks, probably the majority of this season, that we are a big game team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge game.
I mean, it is a huge game, yeah. And look at we've won a cup final this season. We'll have that game at Liverpool at home, 3-3 with Liverpool. We'll give Man City a good game at home. Beating Arsenal 3 times out of 4 this season.
We turned it on a week ago against Chelsea.
We did indeed, yes. Even Arsenal on Saturday, yesterday, if Milan had etc. But if one of those chances goes in the first half, it's a totally different game, you know. Yeah. If Gordon doesn't lose that ball to Saka on the wing, it's a totally. So yeah, I think we're a big game team. My only thing is Moyes has really turned Everton around this season, big style in the
a lot of draws.
Few months he's been there, a lot of draws.
He stabilised them, which is what you would have
a lot. He's done a great job. I think Moyes has always been a good manager. Obviously the spells of Sunderland and the one when he went abroad, that wasn't great.
So she did, right?
Netherlands, Alkmaar, or
he was in Holland, wasn't he?
Man U, obviously
the Netherlands. Sorry,
the Netherlands. That's right. Yes, the Man U thing didn't go great for him, but then he's probably the best manager they've had since Ferguson. Looking at it now. Yeah. So I'm pretty confident that our lads will turn up. I think Howell and Tyndall and Jonesy and the lads in the dressing room who've been there's a lot of Newcastle fans in there. Lascelles is obviously very vocal. He loves the club and all that. Like I've got no fear that our lads won't turn up or anything like that because they are a big game team and all that. They've got that experience, the Champions League nights and stuff like that. My only kind of slight misgiving is Everton are a little bit of an unknown thing. But as I say, they had the massively emotional send-off at Goodison yesterday. There was one point even when that violinist was doing Z cars, I have a second like it was lush. Shame they didn't get Pepper Mills involved, though. That would have been
That would be beautiful.
that would
wouldn't
be
it?
next on the cake.
Nice moment.
Aye.
I did enjoy the moment where Wayne Rooney was serenaded during his speech.
I missed that bit.
Basically, he's mid speech and they started singing "Manchester is full of shit," which made him stop his speech and hand the mic back to Duncan Ferguson.
David
Moyes
Moyes was associated, by the way.
It was. He was definitely associated. Was it Alkmaar, the German Dutch team?
I
Was
don't
that?
think he went anywhere.
Let's have a look.
He didn't, did he? That was
No, he didn't
McLaren.
go.
I thought
Associated
Dutch
was only
now,
one.
Why did I think he
was
got McLaren, man? Steve McLaren, yeah.
I was going to
yeah.
interrupt, but I didn't want to.
Sorry, Deka.
I didn't want to think of your flow.
No, you should have done. He froze out of the shop anyway.
So you mentioned Besty,
Hello.
a certain Mr. Gordon,
Yes.
and his performances, obviously against his ex-team this weekend. His performances over the last couple of weeks haven't been great.
So I was talking to Besty about this just before we went. Just before we watched the club works, the Crest workshop thing. I'll throw back your way to use to on that side of the table. Deka, we had the conversation about where we were getting frustrated with Gordon last week, with him throwing himself to the ground, trying to win free kicks, which he was never going to win. He started the game off exactly the same way.
Mate, I got a lot of shit off people at work for saying that as well, because I was criticising him last week for it. He's doing it again. He's rolling all over the place and nobody's touching him. Or very, very lightly anyway. For the game, now, when I felt we were on a really, really good run, we had Barnes on the left and we had Murphy on the right, and we obviously had Isak up top. And I know we've changed formation, we've tried to do what we can to fit both of them in. And I'm not saying we're playing poorly. I'm not. We've just beat fucking Chelsea and we played very well against Arsenal. But given who the opposition is, given his form, I think I'd probably go back to Barnes on the left and Murphy on the right. Back to the 4-3-3 that we know.
So
and Gordon can maybe be an impact if required.
Drop Botman as well, then, or
That's
been the thing, isn't it? We've been playing with five at the back.
So
we'd need Trippier to be fit, or maybe Tino go right back and Kraft go right back. Yeah, Kraft got booked without touching the ball.
He wasn't quite up to speed on that.
Martin Ellie as well.
First player booked in the game.
What's the story on Trips like? Is he done like for the season?
He never. Howe's had his cards close to his chest with all three, so the likes of Isak, Trips, and Joelinton as well. He's still not categorically saying that he's not going to be playing, but
he went for
between the lines, he's done for the season.
I think Isak's probably the one that you might.
He went for an injection, didn't he? Or Joelinton went to Barcelona for an injection, didn't he?
Did he?
So a lot of rumours with that. So like you didn't send someone for an injection
because he was back in Brazil, wasn't he?
He was
getting some sort of treatment or some sort of rehab sort of thing.
I would be surprised if we don't go back to the 4-3-3. And I appreciate you may have to shuffle things around at the back to be able to accommodate that. But I just maybe any other opposition. I just think Everton, and I know it's at home, so it is different, of course. But like
I can't see we're needing to adopt that, because the reason that we'll go into that formation is so that we can allow them. Not that we really did it much, but allow them to have the ball and then hit them on the break. Everton won't do that to it.
Yeah, Chelsea.
So there's no need for us to play in that formation. So I think you're right. We should go back to the 4-3-3. It's just whether.
And what would you do? Would you play Gordon?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because Barnes deserves to be on the left because of what he's done since he's came into the team. The Gordon that we had up until that red card before the cup final was fantastic. You know what he gave us from.
Would you say fantastic? Because I think he's had a lot of doubt. Well, not doubt as, but he's had a lot of people criticising performance throughout the season.
Well, at the start of the season, people were saying his head had been turned by Liverpool.
Yeah, start of the season, but that's why I'm saying since
very poor, average, very average.
I thought he played well against Chelsea. I thought he really caused. Caicedo could have been. I think I said last week could have been sent off 2 or 3, and that
was coming on late, though, wasn't it? As a bit of an impact player.
Chelsea was.
Ricardo's commented in saying Gordon hasn't been the same since he came out as a Zen monk in that interview.
Well, with Gary Neville. That was a bit of a turning point. That was manifesting.
Well, that's like I don't know. The fact that it's, and I know history doesn't back that up, but the fact that it is against his old team, you would hope that he'd
struggled
on a performance, but he has been.
Down
against them, down there, up here as well.
Ian's coming in saying he's had a form of bottling games against Everton.
Yeah, I know.
And he has.
I can't remember the game down there apart from the penalty.
He tried too hard. He missed it. Sitters as well.
He's
trying too hard type of thing.
Yeah.
It's one of them, isn't it? Where like part of me feels like sort of How puts his arm around and goes, no, I trust and believe in you to make the difference, and you sort of build him up. But there's another part of us thinks if you go back to 4-3-3, I don't think Barnes or Murphy deserve to be sacrificed for him.
No,
I agree.
Particularly coming off the
based
back
on
of
form.
that performance yesterday as well.
But then I think going forward, Gordon has looked dangerous, despite what we're going to get onto it, and he's tracking back as dreadful. But I think he has looked dangerous going forwards.
Well, he looks electric nearly every time he touches the ball. Right? I can't deny that. And I read someone saying they think he's carrying an injury. For me, he looks very sharp on the ball in terms of his movement. Someone's going to say, "Well, Sharp, he lost the ball in possession," I don't necessarily mean that he's doing the right thing, but he looks
decisions in the final third as well yesterday.
I honestly, I just don't think his form, and given Sunday's performance and kind of cost him with a goal, I don't think he deserves on merit to start, if I'm honest. If we change formation back to 4-3.
It's ironic, the two poorest games Barnes has had in the past few months has been the last two.
I agree with you.
Playing 5 at the back and having Gordon back in the team. It looks like, I don't think, I think it is more to do with what we're saying about playing on a counter attack, but won't need to do that against Everton.
Formation forced it, hasn't it?
Yeah. What happens at the back, I don't know, with Botman, Shea, Dan Burn again has been excellent this season all the way through.
Botman, who we thought was ruled out again for the season.
Yeah.
Does Burn go left back?
You
keep Botman, Shea, and you've got your Tino?
Nah, Botman drops back to the bench.
I think that's probably the most likely.
Then you think you go Kraft right back?
I think so, yeah.
Your centre halves are Burn and Shea, and then Tino on the left.
Tino left, yeah. And then midfield kind of Tonali, Bruno.
I also think
Willock.
I think this formation hurts Murphy as well, by the way. I felt for him yesterday. And I'm not the biggest fan, but I felt for him yesterday.
There was one point where he's running down the right hand side and
but he did. He had Martinelli against him the full game.
Well, he had Trossard.
There was one point where Trossard trying to break forward. It was like,
didn't he?
He can't defend, and it's not his job. Listen, he's great at coming. He's great at coming back as a winger to just be a body. If that makes sense. But there was a lot of times yesterday we were asking him to be the right back.
Yeah.
He just
it almost at times felt that he forgot that he was playing wing back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we see it a lot, don't we? When he is playing right side of midfield, he'll wander into the middle of the pitch. He'll not come back and help out as much with Trippier, and then Trippier suddenly got 2 on him, and then he's like, "Oh God, I'm meant to be back there."
Yeah.
And he'll do it. So when he is playing that wing back, it's even more important that he's doing it. So
you're asking a lot, aren't you, when you think of a wing back? You're asking a lot of him, because you're asking him 1 minute to be a solid defender. There were so many times Martinelli was standing him up and he was just going past him. Then in 2 minutes later, you're right, I want you to bomb down that wing and put the best cross in you can. I just think you're asking a lot.
Well, there's one point where
the best players can do it. I just don't think Murphy can.
He picked it up in the right back position, ran the length of the pitch. He got over halfway line, and then you just ran out of steam.
I think Trossard caught him.
Yeah, it was.
I just think you lose so much of him, and you've already mentioned we'll lose a lot of Barnes. But collectively for the team, it works. I think opposition pending, but I do think we'll go back to 4-3-3, and I do think Gordon should be dropped.
I think that's probably.
I don't say that maliciously. It sounds awful when I say that.
I think Gordon and Botman are probably the two that will drop down to the bench.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems fair to me, yeah.
Let's go through some questions, because I've had some. So send some more in, everybody that is watching live. So this one is from our very own Daryl. Dasmo's commenting in. He's saying, does Willock have a future at the club beyond the summer? Who else would you be looking to move on?
I think me and Daryl are in the same kind of boat as this.
Yeah.
I've heard it said,
I think we've had a discussion last week or the week before about Willock's future, and thinking he's missed once again another season where he's missed a lot of games, and you get him back for 3 games, then he's missing 2, then the same happens again, and he's turning into Callum Wilson, really, and when it comes to injury record.
It's gonna if everyone's fit, it'll also be tough for him to get into the side. In real truth. So if the nuts and bolts here are that Willock needs a run in the team to become good, well, he ain't gonna get it because he's not gonna get a run of games. Because I think A, his injury record's gonna force him not to get a run of games, and B, if we're full strength teams available, he ain't gonna play either. But what I would say, if you take out maybe,
but equally that goes for Longstaff and Miley as well.
No, I agree. I agree.
3 of them, isn't it? You took them all into the.
I think.
Would you say Willock is? I think you can get money off Willock though.
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, you could with Miley, of course, because
I think you get more for Willock than what I was reading. 12 million for Longstaff, or maybe 16. I was reading it today apparently. Willock for me, he can play on the wing as well. I'm not saying that he's
going to be a squad player.
Yeah,
Barnes and
he's not going to be
yeah. But will it can? You know, you can play more advanced. Remember that season with him and Joelinton and stuff like that. So I
double Joe pivot.
I think that probably keeps him at the club. The fact that he has got that. I was going to say adaptability, but that's not the word I want.
I would say it's a big season for him next season. That's how I would feel. Then, if he's going to stay, this is a big year for you because other than the odd moment this season, honest to God, he's done now. So maybe someone might come and go, "He did this." Well, I'd be surprised if you can count off one hand what he's done this.
He missed a lot last season as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Got the goal at Old Trafford.
He's got a couple of goals for this season, hasn't he? But hasn't been the best of seasons.
He struggled so badly, man. He got the first goal in the League Cup run. I'm sure he got injured the same game, didn't he? At the City Ground against Forest.
Not long after coming back from injury as well, wasn't it?
Then he did the same. He did really well at Birmingham as well. So yeah, I think Willock's probably done enough. And as I say, that flexibility that he has, the fact that he can play in the middle, in centre midfield as cover, or he can go on the wing if need be. I think that probably plays into staying this summer,
which will help out with more games next season.
Yeah, certainly.
But once again, it's not necessarily the quality that you're getting from Willock; it's availability, which is my issue.
I thought he was about player. I think
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's availability. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. You're right.
His quality hasn't
been good.
It's not been great. It's not been great. No.
Everyone's waxing lyrical because he can run up the field with the ball. My God, he's a professional footballer.
Carries a
ball.
It's
a professional.
But it's because he's the only player that we've got that does that.
Joelinton would do that if he's carrying the ball. Well, both wingers will carry the ball. We've got three players. We've got three players on the pitch. Well, if Joelinton's on, I'm meaning, that'll carry the
central,
ball.
Like the other player that we had that would do that was Sultan, gave him that to get rid of him to Forest, didn't he?
Anderson, yeah.
I think we do see a huge drop off when Joelinton's not available, don't we, in that position? Because I know there's nobody that can replace what Joe does, but there's not even anybody close to that.
But not even in the league.
No, he's one of a kind, isn't he?
He's quite unique, Joelinton. Yeah.
And he even when there's times where I've sat here and went, Joelinton quite wasn't the same, but even in them games, his physicality is still always present. It's always there. And like I said yesterday, I still felt we missed him to a degree. You're always going to miss him.
If you just look like opposition players looking at seeing Joelinton's name on the team sheet, be like, fuck's sake, I'm going to get smashed to bits. Then you see Willock, Longstaff, or Miley. You think that's all right.
You've just got to look at the amount of opposition players that talk about Joelinton as being the toughest opposition that they face in player.
He's unbelievable. Like
he's great. He's great.
And it's almost irreplaceable. You've almost got to try and find a different way of playing without him, haven't you? You've a different kind of way because we can't be quite as physical. And
that's where when changing the formation, to not need that domination and strength in midfield because we just absorb it a bit better by having the two lines across midfield in defence to just invite it and then use with pace.
I do love that we've got two ways of playing. Like I love that. Yeah. Whereas a lot of teams, and you could say the real good sides play their way and that's it. Deal with it. Yeah. I love how we've got an alternative to switch on to.
Tottenham, Postecoglou, he's now sort of changing it, but for like a year and a half, it's just been like that way.
That's it.
I think you've got to have that. I remember we played at Villa Park last season. We had 5 at the back. We beat them 3-2. Or 3-0 up, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were.
So we've got it's nice having that, and we've got to. I think we'll sign more players this summer. We'll have a stronger squad next season than we'll have this. I think that's kind of a universally recognised or agreed fact. That's a terrible dive, by the way.
Horrendous.
Salah gets that if Salah does that.
Yeah, Joe Willock gets booked if it's in. Well, I think that we'll have a stronger squad next year. And I think that only plays into that favour a bit more. Where you've got a bit more adaptability, where you've got players that can kind of fit in both. Joe Willock's probably perfect for it. I think Tino, if we've got our first choice fullbacks back or wing backs, Tino and Lewis Hall can both play wing back. Mm-hmm. So there's that's kind of, you don't need Jacob Murphy.
Yeah, they can mold into that.
Lovely back five, that isn't it?
Yeah. Oh Lord, is it? Yeah.
Versatility. There's
versatility. That's the one, Mark. That's the one I was trying to. Yeah, that was the one. I thank you. I tell you what. When I think of versatility, who I think of, and it was to his detriment, Aaron Hughes.
I was had a couple of mentions recently.
Aaron Hughes to a lesser extent.
He was a good player.
Steve Watson was the same way, right back. Didn't he play
midfield, right wing?
Didn't he play every position on the pitch apart from in goal for Watson?
I want to see he actually played in goal. Did he not go in goal when somebody got sent?
It's possible that he did, but I don't think he did. Steve, if you're watching,
Steve
watching. I don't know if he played in goal, but he certainly played right back quite a bit. He played midfield quite a bit. He was a striker when he was coming through, wasn't he? So he definitely played up
Have you
top.
got another question?
Oh, I've got.
Sorry, we're bored, Deka.
No, sorry. No, I was just going to say.
I've got one as well. If it doesn't,
Okay.
if somebody doesn't mention it,
Okay.
I'll save that for later.
Mine's
fine,
just back to Gordon for a second. So, if you look at next season, right, and forget what we'll buy, just park that for a second if we can. Who's your starting left winger?
Gordon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That was quick fire.
It feels harsh on Barnes, but I think when Gordon's at his best, if you get Gordon from last season, he was phenomenal last season.
There's a 3 months to go before we've got to even think about that. There's
But
a long
summer.
but season.
But that position is not going to change, though, is it? We're not going to, unless we're an idiot again and we're strengthening that area once again,
I don't think
and leave the right hand side bare.
Or Barnes is sold. That was the rumor doing the rounds.
But he did hand in a transfer request earlier in the season. I don't know whether or not that remains the
Gordon's
case.
off to Liverpool because his head's been turned as well. Don't forget.
But the thing is with Gordon,
Got me left wingers.
like Gordon this season as well, he didn't get a pre-season, did he? Because he was away with England, didn't play with them at the Euros, didn't go to the Japanese tour because he arrived back home from the little bit of holiday that he had too late, and it affects the whole season, man. And that's why, we're gonna have to get used to that because the better we get, it kind of stands the reason we're going to have more international footballers. So
there's no tournament this summer, is there? So that'll help.
The Women's World Cup, that shouldn't affect us really, or Euros maybe. That's the problem with going on these kind of pre-season. We did America 2 summers ago, Japan last summer, Singapore this summer. Like, remember when it used to be Ireland? And the lads were just like,
well, we're doing Scotland this year, aren't we?
It was fucking Dalton Park one. About the one the coach.
I
Two little coaches.
Well, we played York, wasn't it? York
Where did we
University.
play when I think he made his debut? Was it Sells? I was at that game. Cambridge or something. No, it wasn't Cambridge. Might have been actually.
before the championship
Matt
season.
Sells.
God almighty. He had an
That's when we got the ball.
absolute
At his
shot.
feet.
God, it was so
what
bad.
a like.
Turn
I know
around.
we talk about Joelinton as being the ultimate redemption story, but bloody hell, Matt Sells has got to be up there, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
I
doing
know
really
he's
well.
not obviously playing for us
He's
now,
had a
but
great season.
what a transformation he's
He
had.
didn't even look like a goalkeeper.
He
did he,
looked
for us?
absolutely horrific.
Thing is, Rafa signed him because he was good with his feet as well. That was his thing.
Yeah.
Was like
Aye.
kind of the goalkeeper that we need now, who's a good stopper, who's good with his feet. Matt Sells is.
Isn't that mad? Rafa thought that one never had the ball.
Oh, did load
well,
in the
oh,
championship.
all
the
right.
championship.
Okay,
Yeah.
I take. But I don't think Sells
In
was
the
just
Premier
getting
League,
good
yeah.
for the championship. But yeah, no.
There he is challenging for the Golden Glove.
Sorry, go back to the questions. mate.
Questions. Next one. In fact, we've had a donation
Oh.
from
Josh.
our friend Liam Mark,
Oh, Liam.
who comes say hi at the game all the time. Hi, Liam, mate. He says, it's a non-football related request. He says, 47 years ago today, my number one album, Sultans of Swing, was released 9 days before I was born. What are your lads' number one albums?
You'll remember that. It was your 21st.
Funny enough, we got beat 3-0 the day I was born.
He also says
Leicester away.
well, he also follows it up saying he's expecting 3-0 at the weekend. for
Oh, that's why I've
Newcastle.
read that. I would got beat 3-0 Leicester. It was meant to be Boxing Day, got postponed to the 2nd of March, and that's we got it. My dad got his program for my birthday a couple of years ago, which is a nice little thing.
Do you have a number one album, Bestie? You'll have loads.
It's really hard to
Oh, that's
pick one.
Tough number one question,
Probably
that.
some, but at the minute I'll listen to loads of Pulp because they've got new album coming out, so a different class by Pulp.
That's a good album.
I'm doing a thing at work for the VIP tickets for to see them.
Aye.
Just like people can go. I've got 2 tickets for it in Manchester. I didn't know who it was at first. It just said Pulp, and it was them. Obviously,
Aye.
He really deserves those tickets, doesn't he?
no, they're not for me. I'm giving them away. I'm saying not for me. I'm not
you've
going.
got 2 gentlemen in your immediate vicinity that would appreciate those.
He must be a Dire Straits fan, then, is he? They're one of my favourite bands.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
guessing
guessing
so.
so. Yeah, it's his number one album.
Yeah, aye.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you said it was your number one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it was Born. Blah, blah. On Every
Holy
Street's
Bible
probably
by
my
the
favourite.
Manics.
Like On Every Street Live by Dire Straits is something else.
Yeah.
Which
Just
one's-
enough education.
which ones comes to your mind
That's a
first of
good
all,
album
Deka?
as well.
That's release. That's when the Stereophonics were.
If I'm being really honest, it'll probably be Bon Jovi in These Arms. If I'm being honest, Crossroads. Apologise, Crossroads in
That's
These Arms.
great. See, kind of greatest hits.
But it is. I know, but it was the first album that Hotel California was the first album that I listened to
Yeah.
properly on Every Street. But the one I used to listen to on my paper round back to back.
Crossroads.
Crossroads,
I mean,
aye.
Big Mate had that.
Honestly,
These Arms was,
Crossroads.
that was off. It was a year or two before, wasn't it? Keep the Faith. That was on. I think.
Keep the Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, good Bon Jovi. I'm not
God,
really,
I love Bon Jovi. Aye.
What's yours, Chris?
Do you know what? I don't know. I went through.
Something like that.
Like something like Geordie's. I've gone through quite a different phase of music at the minute. Like like when you're growing up and you always listen to the same sort of thing.
Mhm.
Now I used to listen to quite a lot of rap and R&B, and I can't stand it now.
No,
Really?
it's changed, hasn't
I
it?
listen back to even the stuff
The
I
stuff
used to
from back
listen
then?
to.
Okay.
I listen now and I go, I can't listen to this anymore.
So
Like,
do you
I used to
Eminem
really
and
like
stuff?
Cypress
Like
Hill
Eminem,
when they were
yeah.
out.
Cypress Hill,
And
all right. That was a bit, yeah.
But if I listen to it now, it's terrible.
It's
Yeah.
aged.
I'm not the
Cypress Hill.
same as
yeah,
well. I'm
I
like,
think
why
it-
on earth did I
I
listen
think
to
I
it?
would say Eminem is probably the one which I probably would still listen to in
Okay.
regards to all the albums.
Yeah.
But like, what was that? I was driving down to Filey at the weekend, and a couple of 50 Cent songs came on. I went, why did I listen to this?
I
Nah,
put-
50 Cent.
for
That was
example-
a quality album.
For
that.
example, the halftime show at the NFL, right? The tunes that
Yeah,
still
that
ran
was-
on
that was
were
unreal,
like
that's fucking-
Yeah, the one
Missy Elliott.
unreal music.
Kendrick and Dre and all
Yeah,
that.
that
a
was
few years
fantastic.
ago,
the
yeah.
year before that one with Missy Elliott and
Yeah,
Eminem.
Missy Elliott and
Yeah, yeah.
50 Cent.
Mary J. Blige, yeah,
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 Mary-
I'm sure, yeah.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
That was, it was
great,
last yeah.
Who was
not
this year? This year
Yeah,
was,
it was
wasn't Kendrick this year, was it?
Oh no, it was that
what's he
that
called,
one
man?
guy, wasn't it? It was awful. I
The
thought.
tiny little fella.
Aye.
Kendrick. Oh, was Kendrick?
Kendrick
was it?
Lamar.
Yeah, it was
Ah,
Kendrick
yeah.
this year. Yeah, yeah,
Terrible.
he was all right. I thought it was
Serena
funny.
Williams
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the
Crip
other
Walker,
Williams.
yeah, it was Serena
Crip
Williams.
Walker.
Yeah, aye.
I've always listened to like country music and stuff since being
I
a kid.
love me
Ah,
country
yeah.
music.
Well, I
And
don't
now-
understand why people like country
Oh, you
music.
can-
And like
It's like massive now. It's crap.
I've always
So
loved
I'm
country
getting
music, like,
more
but it
into-
is getting massive now.
because
Chris
of-
Stapleton's mint. If you like
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton's
because of
music.
Grand Theft Auto, like Waylon Jennings and stuff like that. Like,
Oh,
some,
okay,
some, like good out stuff. Like,
I love me country music.
I never ever listened to like Still Dre and stuff. I didn't like put it on in the house if that makes
Mm.
sense. It was when I was going out clubbing or whatever. That would be music that
The
was on. I
one
would never go home and
great
put it on.
the one
if I'm
rap
honest.
album which I'll always love, and it's probably a topic which we shouldn't really talk about
Ooh.
is College Dropout.
can you? I
Yeah.
thought you were going to go kneecap there. I thought you were
No, College
fine.
Dropout.
I mean, I
Kanye
love
is a
Kneecap.
fantastic album,
It's a bad egg.
but he's an absolute
Yeah, he's a
nutcase.
rotter.
He's a wrong un, but it's a great album. Like,
That other strange rap fella had some good songs back in the day as well.
Sean
One that
Combs.
likes Baby Oil. No, he's
Yeah.
another one. What is it with hip hop
Yeah.
artists and being
We'll-
Roggins?
we'll move it on though.
Could,
We'll
yeah,
move it
no,
on.
I get the feeling it could
It's
It's
be.
like,
going down,
it's like
we'll move it
70s
on.
glam rock
It could be
artists,
a
isn't it?
legal
Yeah.
minefield. this,
We'll
but
move it on. But yeah,
Is that
great
MVP you were
question.
singing there?
Liam. Great question.
Nah, it's got to be Primal Scream. It's moving on.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
Next one is from Paul Patterson. That says we've had this question a couple of times. Mackems or Sheffield? Which red and white stripes do you want?
Sheffield
up?
United.
100%.
100% Sheffield
I
United.
just need to explain this right. I didn't. Me dad, me father-in-law, my brother-in-law were around watching the game because they didn't have Sky and they came around. And my lass came in from work, and when them
Sunderland
scored,
games,
when them scored, I didn't speak for about 2 hours, I think. And my lass was asking us questions, and I just could not even look at her.
It's furious.
And she was going, "Why are you so annoyed?" And I just couldn't even answer it. And then I just went on a walk. I just walked out. I was absolutely
I watched the
boiling.
game. I watched
It's
the
the
game
way
as
that
well.
did it.
Boiling.
94th
Because
minute,
you
man.
watch
Oh.
hoping that they're going to lose.
104th
and
minute,
obviously
sorry,
they
124.
But like as the last couple of minutes, what coming in, I was sat more last to the side. I went, they've had this habit of the last few seasons where they love a last minute goal.
Always, huh?
As I fucking said it, they put in the net and you fucking bastards.
I honestly did say, because I have to say that Ballard, the lad,
Yeah, they're
he
blind, I like.
won everything in the end of the
2
away
games in
game
a row.
and this
Well,
game.
he was.
And he come trotting up, and I thought
He
that
wasn't
they,
even in the lineup,
they
man.
had been going for him all the time on corners, trying to get there.
Yeah.
And I sent my father-in-law, went, that Ballard lad. And then obviously it happened, right? I was just fuming.
He was when we played him in the cup last season. He was our best player.
He
He
scored
scored
a
no
goal,
goal,
didn't he?
He scored none
He
goals
played
to
well,
be
didn't
sent
he?
off.
Played
Good penalty away. But he was. I'm not
Played
like not being facetious. He was actually our best player.
He
I thought
was,
he
played
played
well.
really
Isak put
well.
him on his also a couple of times as well, didn't he?
I did. Then he had that set too with
What,
Gordon.
what,
Woods
what I
as
am
well.
going to say, though, and my best mate in the world, he's a Mackham, and I've told him the same, but if that's the standard, that performance from then was appalling. It was absolutely shocking. And if that's what them are and them come up, my goodness me.
Over
I've
2
seen-
games was shite. Like,
I've seen Mackems claiming that they've performed the way that they have at the end of the season because they were guaranteed
Yeah,
to
I know,
go
I've
up in
heard
the
that.
playoffs.
Well,
So
see
they
now-
didn't need to play games. So it was actually a managerial masterclass.
I've thought
he
that.
told them
I've
not
thought
to
the
play.
same. They had 4th players wrapped up with something like 5, 6. And it's obviously not a Sunderland podcast. So why I can see Lebris, whatever how you pronounce it, saying to them, right, look, we've got 4th place, but kind of and we're 20 points ahead of 5th and so many points ahead behind 2nd or 3rd. So they couldn't move. They were 4th spot. So why not? I can imagine him going, right, just course end the season, get through the games, and then treat the playoffs as a completely different tournament.
yeah, I've seen that a couple of times.
I just-
wouldn't be
just-
shocked. I
Why
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
you want to
surprised.
go in great form, winning games full of confidence?
Well, if you treat it as a completely different beast,
Burnout,
it's
maybe?
like look what clubs do in the FA Cup. Clubs can be crap in the league, but they always say the cup's a different thing. Treat the playoffs as a 3-game cup tournament, which is fairly what it is.
Well, can you just?
I
sorry,
think
interrupt you,
I think it's some truth in
could
that.
you not
really, like,
argue the
I
likes
think
of
it's
Man U
bad
and
management.
Spurs have done the exact same thing?
yeah, you could.
Well,
Definitely.
they have now as it's gone
Yeah.
on, absolutely. But I think for me personally, you want to try and build up some form and momentum. I don't think you can turn form on and off like a tap. I don't think it. I think you sort of in a tournament in a major tournament, you want to peak at the end. You gradually want to become good. You just don't want to be shit over 6 games and then go, guys, tonight you've got to play the night because we need it. Now, don't get us wrong, they're through, right? So that method in the madness is
if that's
worked,
what it is,
right? Yeah. However, the performance in that second leg, I'm gonna be very honest here. The fans did a fabulous job before kickoff. The place was rocking, and I was like, do you know what, these are going to absolutely steamroll these. They couldn't get the ball. It was Coventry for 100 minutes. It was. They just couldn't. That was the problem. Yeah, I mean, they had one right at the death. They should have scored, but we're not on the podcast.
The amount of times I saw the ball from both teams just getting launched up top,
just
coming straight back.
They're
going to have 09 playing centre half, next year. My goodness me. My goodness me.
I watched all the first game
this
in
could
Germany.
be 10 in a game, man.
And I watched the first half hour. I saw the game. I was at a gig on whenever it was last week, Wednesday or something. But the standard's awful. The TV is poor, like it is.
Awful. Yeah. My father-in-law was like, he put arguments. I don't understand why you don't want these to come up. Surely you want the derbies back. I'm like, you are absolutely insane. Nope. I don't ever want to see them again.
I can't remember. I was watching something the other day, and it was a Newcastle fan, but like a celebrity fan. And that's the question. Would you like to see Sunderland back up? And he was like, 100%. I would have loved. I was like, are you fucking mental? Absolute basket case.
All I'm going to say is, right, those that say that, in my opinion, don't know anyone. They don't have friends from Sunderland.
Yeah.
They work in Newcastle. They've lived in Newcastle, and they don't actually know anyone from Sunderland.
I hate the last derby day. We're 2 different leagues.
Especially we live in Shields, Mark. Not so to say, obviously you live this side. We live in Shields, right? All of my mates are Macklin.
About half.
All my chats, it's split down the middle. So I don't want it. I don't need it. And that's why I was so pissed off, because I knew when I went on my Facebook and my feed would be full of fans that have never been to a game all fucking season because they're on back shift at Nissan. But then they were at that game as if it was the greatest moment in their entire life.
It was the
second
sellout.
The game that still had 30,000 tickets available.
Was it the second sellout of the season? Can you remember which the first one was?
This season.
For Sunderland, yeah?
The cup? Oh, no.
It was Newcastle in the cup.
Oh, it wasn't Newcastle. I was going to say.
That was last
season.
Sorry. So
I was going to say,
was the first sellout?
Was it not Beyonce in July or something like that?
Since that game, which is mental when you think about it. But yeah, we'll move on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so in summary, we want a Sheffield United win.
There were still 30,000 tickets left.
If you get an AI summary, it would just be all that shit. Sheffield United to win.
I'd rather Sheffield. I'm just looking at I'm sure.
I want them rocking in League One.
I'm sure Sunderland have beaten Sheffield United this season twice, Beaten the stadium like on New Year's Day 2-1 in a Bramall Lane. So, 1-0 to Sheffield United.
Now Sheffield United finished 15 or 16 points ahead of them in the league.
Yeah, Sheffield United.
I watched both of their playoff games, and they were night and day. Now Bristol City, I'm not saying are amazing.
6-0, wasn't it?
6-0.
The first game though, that was a bit of
that red card.
They did, but we'll see.
Rather than jumping through the rest of the questions, we haven't even discussed the Crest workshop, which we watched before we went live tonight. So people that were expecting us to go live at 8:15, we surprised everybody and just went 7:30. So hi everybody, if you just joined. Do you have any questions, Mark? Because you weren't with me.
About the Crest?
Yes.
The workshop thing, yeah.
Nah.
Thanks.
No.
Thanks for
that.
It's good content.
Not a single one.
Well, give us your feelings around it then. Not questions, just give us your feelings about it.
I've seen obviously the stuff that, because the original one was on Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
Wednesday last week, I think it was.
Yeah, so I've seen various stuff coming out after that. I'm very happy that the club are shying away from the fact and saying that they don't want to have a bog standard round club crest, and that they've made that clear. Which I think that's marvelous.
They mentioned numerous times throughout that saying we will not have a circular.
Happy crest with that, because again, I think they then demonstrated that there was 973 clubs that have got the same round.
So
crest.
What they did, for an example, it was mainly Premier League teams where they put every crest on the screen together. Then they basically just made them a shadow. Silhouette. And all you could see was circular badges, and obviously there was some standouts, like so you'll know, obviously Newcastle, Southampton, Spurs, Palace. There's a few of them. Any more?
No, I think we need to keep something that is unique, embodies the city, what the club and area is about. So yeah, I think the whole refine and make simpler, better of the existing crest is what appeals to me. And again, they mentioned that, and obviously that they mentioned that we'd seen last Monday.
Yeah.
The design that it got leaked of, a very rough sketch of what they'd done of simplifying it and stuff like that. But
No, it was an
hopefully
absolute car
it's
crash,
going to be a
by the
lot
way.
better than that.
So
But-
they said that was one of hundreds of designs that have been
Yeah.
created.
Well, they picked the fucking worst one, surely, out of them hundreds. My
And
goodness,
That's
me.
probably
look,
why that
look,
one got shared, because it was.
We've seen that from like every Tom, Dick, and Harry's been using bloody ChatGPT.
Well, this is my
stuff
next point, Mark.
to do things.
What they did in this meeting tonight, okay, there's a couple of things which I didn't necessarily agree with, and I'll go through them with you now, and I think that the two lads here agree with us. They put a lot of fan designs on the screen as well, and things which I'd seen in social media over the last week. Two of those designs, Mark, were Saudi-esque, where they were green and they had deserts, they had palm trees, they had Arabic writing on there, they had swords on there, and you're thinking, why the fuck are you even showing that on screen? Because you know for fine well people are going to screenshot that, like Deka's got on his phone right now, and go,
So,
this is going to be Newcastle New Crest. What are you playing at?
Well, I think they're more pointing out at these are some of the ridiculous things that are
Well,
being...
they came out and said we're categorically not going to go down this route.
But I
Well,
think
come on,
things like that. Surely it's not a Newcastle fan that has been designing that. That's going to be something that has been an opposition fan.
Why put it on the screen?
They had the one with the Geordie dancer on, didn't they?
Yes,
In-
Jordy
in- in-
Dempsey and Eddie Howe smoking a cigar.
That's right, aye. And I think that was just to kind of.
I think isn't it just to bring a bit of humour?
Yeah,
to
I think that's
Yeah,
a bit of
Well,
brevity
tell them
rather
about the next humorous point.
The text that they put on
Yeah.
screen, right? So they had screenshot a couple of things. I'm saying screenshot. We
Well,
don't
I've
know
just thought of a
where they
question
had
I'll ask
came
you.
from. Okay, we don't know what social media aspect, if it's comments that have just been put on the survey or what it is. One of the things that said on screen was, "Fuck right off, you'll give us a circular crest or something daft like that." And I'm thinking, there's probably kids watching this.
Full screen, you know.
Full screen.
Can we zoom in on
Fuck
this
right
one?
off.
Fuck right off.
I'm getting, are you mental?
Unbelievable. That was really, really
Like
poor.
we're all gobsmacked at that
Yeah,
point.
that's
like.
not the kind of thing that I'd get a good show.
And they're on about selling the brand. We're changing the brand because we need to sell a brand. Next comment, fuck right off. And they put
I
it.
know.
He had that prepared on his slide.
You see,
It wasn't just like an accident. He had it prepared.
you see, I'm not going to read it out. I was like, what can I all say
Oh,
about
it was really,
Like,
it was terrible.
if I was sat there like with either of my kids and they're 10 and 8, they can read what that says on the screen. Like,
It was really.
It wasn't very appropriate. Like, was it?
They could have just obviously.
I
blanked
would
out the word,
imagine
yeah.
that they haven't
censor it out.
invited any under 18s along. To
No,
the-
but I could watch it
the
on the stream.
sessions. I know you could have.
Yeah, you could have. I mean, we did. We had one login and we kind of made
Aye.
Deka and Kris watch it together. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that'll be a dad at
I
home.
think
Going,
it could-
oh, wait,
it could
kids
be
will watch
better.
this and we'll see what the crack is
It could
like.
be
So, yeah.
Like, it wasn't very professional. I don't think it was very professional in regards to that aspect of it. What are your thoughts, Bestie? Oh, yeah, count on tapping his mic.
Watching
Who
it,
was doing it?
it was
Brand officer and
Hello, cool.
somebody else.
Ginger and I've got
Somebody called Ginger.
Dan Ginger.
Ginger.
He wasn't
Dan
called
Ginger.
Ginger.
They,
Dan
they were,
Ginger.
they were very keen at getting across that.
Surname
they've been
Rogers.
Lifelong fans and lifelong Geordies, he kept saying, and born and bred Geordie. They kept getting this badge means everything to us. And
Oh, so was this so they were from this consultancy?
No, club
no,
employees.
they're the
I know
club
what
employees.
club
Oh,
employees.
yeah.
It's all been done in house, isn't it?
Past that is.
No, because they
Understand it.
said
Oh.
that they had a
Sorry, we all watched
the
the Brighton Liverpool
consultancy
game.
firm that had worked with Nike, worked with other clubs.
Oh,
and
Tim,
stuff
he
like
was on
that.
top
No,
of that.
he's
That was
the
him.
him.
employee. He actually worked for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's banging the drums saying the badge is
Aye, but is
amazing.
he not just
My
being
God, no.
employed by the
No,
club as like a...
He's employed for the last 7 months by the club.
Last 7 months,
Yeah.
he said, aye. And he said, I can't believe it's gone this fast and blah, blah, blah. And he kept saying, the badge is brilliant. We love this badge. And then someone shouted, well, what are you changing it for then? It was a really,
Yeah,
it was really good.
It was a really good point when they were saying, you were saying, I've been a fan since, I can remember when the
80s, aye.
new one came in, the current badge in 1988. He says, I never noticed, but it's not quite symmetrical. I think, well, if you haven't noticed it, then why is it all of a sudden now a problem? You know? And if they want to clean it up, that's what I took away from it was it's likelihood is it's going to be more like what happened to the Norwich badge, where they changed the cast. They made the lion a bit, and the canary got a bit of a tidy up as well.
Villa did the same as well.
Well,
Isn't
Villa
it-
went the wrong way around. They had another
They
badge in the
reverted back.
meantime.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Did you think it was funny? Thinking of that now, it's a great point because we did the podcast, me and Chris, a video, and we covered the Norwich one. So what they also did, they had the 5 badges that we've had in our time,
Mhm.
and they blanked out, they just evaporated the 2 that I love.
Aye.
Well,
Yeah, it was,
I'll
yeah,
find
So that was City Coat of Arms,
Aye.
the Fortitude Defender Triumphants one, the one on the back of this season shirt, the circular one,
Yeah,
NUFC,
And the cover
Yeah.
crest.
and that one.
no, they had,
that's full.
oh, sorry, they had the, was
No.
it qu-
City Coat of
Fine.
Arms,
Yeah.
the one that was on the shirt, that isn't it? The City Coat of Arms was used on the shirt in the 55 Cup final, but
Aye.
wasn't actually
yeah, they had that
used
one.
as
On.
the club logo after that one.
Aye.
The one from the 70s, the circular one from the late 70s. So the one from the 70s, the coat
The
of arms.
70 was the
They almost
It was
had two
basically-
coats of arms.
basically
didn't
the coat of
yeah,
arms,
they
not
changed
quite.
the scroll.
So that's the second one.
Right.
That one, NUFC, and the current one.
Those 5.
Is that going to taking photos of the whole thing?
So they did that.
As I
That's
say,
what
coat
they
of
did.
arms,
So basically,
the original one,
I'm
yeah.
showing you now. So they're blanking them two out and saying, "Get these out your head. We are not going down this route, any shape or form."
Yeah.
Now is that what the fucking two are like? Because now, but to your point though, Bestie, sorry to go back, is I'm surprised though that they didn't show you Norwich's and say
Yeah.
this is maybe more of the line we're thinking
Yeah.
of.
They
This is the
didn't
old
mention it.
It was
didn't
it was in
Yeah,
as wasn't it? Was the one
yeah.
that they used as an example
Yeah.
for
because
There's a few clubs that they've done that where they have just, you know, I
simplified
can
it.
think where they've just whatever the image is, they've just tidied it up, made
Yeah.
it an outline and stuff like that.
that Norwich one was very, very, very good. Is it?
Yeah.
And what because the sense I got from it, they zoomed in on 3 different areas of the badge that them felt was wrong. So it wasn't symmetrical.
Which 3 areas do you think that
What
they
3 areas
pinpointed?
do you think?
So for me, it would be the lion.
Correct, that's one.
I know one of them is the scroll because I know that's not symmetrical. Scroll
the
at
ribbon.
the bottom, the
Yeah.
ribbon,
Mhm.
and then the other thing that I know is dodgy is the
The hooves.
hooves.
So I think those were the 3 things, weren't they?
Yeah.
yeah. That
So-
was, yeah.
That's when I was thinking, well, didn't change the badge at all. Just doctor them. If you've got 3
Well, that's what you'd
issues,
think it would
just
you'd
doctor the
make
3
those-
issues.
You'd make those more
Yeah.
simple.
and
The
what
main-
was mad, they kept banging on saying, but we're trying to grow the club and sponsorship deals and stuff like that. And I was saying, these like, how you think someone wants to be a sponsor of our club, looks at the hooves and go, I would love to sponsor you, but that hooves doesn't touch
So, I mean,
properly.
even like when you look at the
It's a bad example.
seahorses, there's a lot of detail in the tail,
That's what they said
The
in the
body of it
meeting
and
was
stuff
the
like that,
tail and
the
the
head.
mane. What kind
Yeah.
of a lot of lines in there.
and then the lion, and obviously there's and even in the castle as well. Obviously the brickwork and stuff that's in
Yeah.
there.
But the thing which
But you could make that very, very simple.
Yeah.
well, this is the thing, right? That they've came out and they've made this song and dance about changing the club crest, right? By the sounds of it, in that meeting, all that I got from it is that we are just tidying it up a little bit. So why not just say that from the start?
Just do it.
Well, I think they did, didn't they? In the survey thing that they put out, they talked about the 3 R's.
There was 3, but they never cancelled it down to 1.
Replace, and they cancelled the replace
Oh,
out
did
of
they?
it. They said straight away,
Well, the
we're
replace
not going
one,
to
yes.
replace it.
Yeah.
And it was, and I still can't remember what the other one was.
Refine.
It was
Refine.
refine and something
We
else.
just watched it. And
Revive.
Revive,
Yeah.
refine, and revive. And that's, so I think that's what the
Yeah. So the Revive got binned as well,
Was Revive.
because was revive mean, i.e., reviving one of the older badges.
maybe.
Is that what they mean
maybe,
by
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Which then that led us down a garden path of like looking at the one that's on the back of the home shirt now, you
Yeah.
know, the sort of the top.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I love that one actually. I think it's a lovely badge. But and I love the NUFC one from the 80s as well. And that's what I mean when he worked them two out. I was like, oh, well. But it does look like they're going to keep the same badge and they're maybe going to tidy it up and against like the Norwich thing I was talking about. The line's going to maybe look a little bit more of a simpler sort of adaptation.
See,
of the line.
for me, I like, because again, this was something that asked in the survey about which elements of it are important to you,
Yes,
stuff
correct.
like that. The thing, like the actual lion and the flag, doesn't mean a huge deal to me.
There was
it's there because of when we were,
3% difference between the seahorses, and the flag.
Yeah.
wow. I'm surprised at that.
So
Yeah,
what was the other one that we left at?
Because to me, the seahorses is a big part of it. The lion and the flag is all because of back obviously when King George
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So there might be a royal connotation to that.
Was it out
with
of the-
people supporting
Out
that
of the
coach.
survey, there was it 83% agreed that it needs that the-
Understood.
So this
Understood.
is what I was going to say to you, because I did find that very, very misleading that they used that, because in the context of the survey, they asked whether you understood why they were changing it, and that was after the fact that they told you the reasons, that it was hard to reproduce, it wasn't symmetrical and all. So they told you the reasons. So of course you're going to understand.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Want
completely
doesn't mean you
different
want.
between.
Yeah. It's like you've just told us. Like, I know
Exactly.
why.
Yeah.
We know exactly why you're saying to do it. Don't then use that as a positive to say, oh well, you know,
Someone
this
in
is
the
why
chat
we're gonna
said that.
to do it.
Someone in
It's-
the
it's-
live chat thing
very
that said it
misleading.
was
Led.
very
It's
leading.
It's very, very
very
misleading.
leading.
Yeah.
It was.
Was there a question? I can't remember, but was there a question in the survey saying, do you want
No.
to see? There wasn't, was
No.
there?
No, it wasn't.
Because that wouldn't have been great.
I think that's what they're saying. That's why they let it that way, because that to them, that's what I said to Deka during when it was on. That is they can use that. Do you understand why? As being implication to say, oh yeah, that means that they want to change it. You know, they can kind of manipulate that in that way.
And that's not the way the question was put.
It's not at all, because I said that I didn't. I was against it. And I still am against it. But I understand why they're saying they need to change
100%.
it. Because I've read it. As you said, Mark, because I read it a minute ago.
Exactly.
I said what would have been more I was thinking what would have been more beneficial for me was they kept saying to move forward and to become this and become that. Now that's right. Well, then show us some statistics where we've been turned down by sponsors then because our badge is not right. Give us that evidence, because this doesn't exist. No sponsor in the world has come to us and went, sorry, mate, I'm not having you because your badge is shite. They're not. But they were almost saying, but because if we change your badge, we can move forward as a club and we can do this and we can do that. Well, show us the evidence that's stopping me from doing that.
There was no mention of any sort of financial gains from it either, which I was expecting.
I would actually argue the opposite, that if you change the badge to something that is much more generic, that it would actually lose what they want.
Hence why they're not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's why they did the silhouette stuff. That's them saying we're going to try and keep it as much as we can as a recognizable. And you could do that. Excuse me. You could do that in the Norwich, if you want to call it the Norwich like method, technique, or whatever, where you can keep the shape of the badge largely what it is now, but just tidy it up. Like the seahorses don't need to be as articulate,
as fancy.
As they are. The lion. I mean, we've got about 13, 14, 15 million different iterations of the badge in here, and it's different on every single. It's different in that pillowcase to what it is on that flag, to that shirt, to this top.
I love how you said pillowcase. People that don't watch or haven't seen mine screen,
excuse me, that's a
bed in the corner.
That's a mini flag.
This is where Kris lived for a little while before.
But when you look at some of them, the lion actually looks like a teddy bear.
Yeah, I know.
They mentioned that in there as well. They said a lot of people say it looks like a teddy bear. Silverstone thinks it looks like
on there. 100% looks like a teddy bear.
Yeah, it does.
We pointed that one out, to be fair. So once again, we'll understand why.
Yeah.
But ask us if I want to see a change. I like the teddy bear.
I would rather.
Do I want to change the badge? No. Do I understand why you need to change it and want to change it? Yes.
Do you still want me to change the badge? No. Like, those are the three questions.
If they're the 3 points that they've said, then on that one they could have just come back and go, these are the 3 areas that we're going to tidy up because we know the line shit. This is too detailed. What was the other one you just said? The symmetrical thing?
The hooves.
There we go. So there's 3 things that are a problem. They are the 3 things we're going to all the best. Crack on, lads. See you next week.
One of the big things was one something that I mentioned quite often was how hard it is to embroider. And like Deka's got the away kit on today. Is not embroidered. I've got a training top one here from last season. Isn't embroidered. Yours is more, but that's one of the kind of the t-shirts that was brought out. Yeah. So on the kits, the keeper kits have been embroidered this season, but they haven't been apart from that. In modern football
Castor
kits,
were the one that
had the in modern football kits, it's really, really rare to have a properly embroidered crest like we had on the Castor ones. It doesn't really happen these days. So
I just want to mention about embroidery, right? Sorry, and I appreciate this. The example I'm going to give you, I understand that this is so much more detailed. Have you seen the hoodie that's in the club shop? Ben's got it, I think, as well, off the podcast.
No.
It's the 80s logo. Have you seen that in person?
No.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Can I say? I'm going to buy it. I think.
With the programs on the back.
It is the
right.
thickest embroidery of all time. It's like it's as thick as it
just doesn't bend.
Oh mate, it's like toast, man.
It's like
it's huge.
Like American football shirt, like the Philadelphia Eagles shirt.
And I keep looking at that going, God, that I do feel it. That's a lot of thread in that, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
but it's easier to
anyone that's seen
because
it.
It's a solid,
of course it is. I totally
agree. Rather than the individual.
Totally agree. If anyone hasn't seen it, honestly, go and have a look at that hoodie. It's absolutely lush, like.
And do you know what else? They kept on mentioned in previous surveys and previous things that we've seen, and they didn't really mention it in this one tonight, is the digital world. And I'm going, right, I get it when you've got to stitch things on. I understand that there's issues, especially with the font, which they didn't really mention.
No.
I thought the font would have been a huge thing because the Newcastle United font is very, very hard to have a stitch and embroider. It really is.
Because it looks good as well.
It's fancy.
But even
you can tidy that up.
On this one, you can see that, like, the D slightly smaller than
your D slightly smaller.
Again, which was a huge issue on the Castor. The I. So even though this is
the E on that looks like a B, right? The E looks like
new top quality Adidas. There's still issues.
We'll get it right. So I would expect them to change the font. I think the font will be a big one, which they will change, and they'll just make it bold, straight edges, like not
Arial instead of Times New Roman.
Basically, yes, basically. Comic Sans coming your way.
Get on wingdings.
But then I'm thinking, well, explain why it doesn't work in the digital world. Tell us why it doesn't work. Because all you're doing, it's just a JPEG image that you're sending across to all of these different things. Like, why it's not working?
It'll be where
works.
It's black on white or white on black or a solid color, because obviously you then lose all of the detail.
And another thing they mentioned, over the years we've used different blues in the crest. Whose fault's that?
Yeah. That was a really bad example.
I mean, you can see that.
But whose fault's that?
Whose fault's that, though?
On the actual transfer type ones, it was a much lighter.
Yeah, but they've chose to do that.
But
again, this is
that's the manufacturers as well.
But you could have any badge you want. That could still be a problem moving forward, right? That's up to the club to do. Are they trying to say that the new badge is going to have no colour then? Is that what they're telling me? Because before we had a mouse mat that it was like a light blue, and then you had
there's three
of load like that where it's been
three of wearing the logo and they're all white on black background, dark blue on Deka's on.
So
they're all monochrome.
Would that be a problem then?
Well, it hasn't been for because we'll have the
but the home one has always had the badge.
It's always had the
colours. That would be disappointing if they went, because we've had a light blue mouse mat in 1944. We're going to now just make it silhouette everywhere.
That pillowcase.
You'd have to,
that pillow's gone.
it would mean that kit design would have to be very particular, because you'd have to have your stripes aligned with your manufacturer's logo and also the crest. If it was a solid colour,
it won't be though. Well, surely not.
Because, like, to Besty's point, if you're having a white crest, you'd have to put it on a black stripe.
Yeah, but you would normally have the same amount of stripes, wouldn't you?
Not necessarily. Well, yeah, you probably would. I was going to say with numbers.
That's what I'm saying. On a coloured one, it doesn't matter. It can go over the stripe. It doesn't matter whether it's on the white.
That couldn't be on a white stripe.
No.
Yeah.
I understand that. I do understand
that.
Yeah.
Split in half like we did with before.
To Chris's point, though, it was all merchandise that the club produced.
Yeah.
Right? And they were saying, you can see, look at the ribbon, it's all different colour blues. Well, that's your problem,
that's the club's doing that.
Like. I could make it yellow right now if I wanted to.
Yep. Like, I know, it was stupid that.
Yeah, it was a strange point to bring up. Stupid. But like, Besty, did he get anything from it? Are you any wiser now as to what you were?
Yeah, before? I think so. I feel as well. I've got more of an idea that it would be more of a, and I was a little bit. I don't think concern's the right word. The way they did them, use them Inter Milan's badges, because that got changed 3-4 years ago, maybe slightly less.
Which I don't mind, to be fair.
It's all right, but I would hope it's a more subtle change than this, because they've changed the logo around a little bit, but it used to have International FC or whatever it was on the outside, and the kind of in a circle, ironically, which we're trying to get rid of. They enlarged
the gold as well.
Deka
pointed this out as well. They removed the goal, didn't they?
I like that as well. I like the goal.
So I'm a little bit worried that they might just kind of try and, I don't know, just the shield, for instance, make that bigger with it. Actually, that wouldn't look too bad. I might talk myself around, yeah. I hope it's a subtle.
They put their badge into a shield.
I think that's what
other clubs that have done. I hope it's quite a subtle one. I'm not saying last night I'd rather they change it completely. Yeah, I would rather. I think look at it now and look what I think they're talking about doing. I would rather it was just a tidying up of what I have now, instead of being like this.
And I think that's what it's going to be.
I think so, yeah, as well.
So, and like for me, I thought,
I think they're probably going to try and retain the shape as much as they can as well.
Yeah, 100%. The thing to do not worry though, Deka, is we'll listen to all this and say we're not going to be changing much. We're going to keep the same things featured on it. Blah 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 blah. And one of the leaked examples was horrendous.
It was that one. That was
yeah. And he admitted that was the case, right? And he said like my face has been everywhere on social media, being screenshotted. Which, to go back to your point, by the way, about these other badges, they haven't learned much mistakes yet, because he's admitted that I've been screenshotted and put all over the Northeast due to that badge, and then they're putting "fuck off." Did he text on the thing on the screen? I just disagree with that.
With that badge, that version of it.
But I'm pretty sure at the start of the session they would have said, "Don't take any screenshots.
Yeah, they
don't
did.
Share
don't record this. Yeah, they did.
Well, what was I doing?
But then,
breaking it.
The things get out, man.
That version, that iteration, is no less complicated a drawing or an item than what we've got anyway.
Well, I thought
it is.
It's more square, but it's got shitloads of lines and all.
I totally agree.
No, but it's just a line.
Well, somebody had commented in the chat, because we're letting people comment in it as well. Somebody had commented in saying it looks like somebody ran over the current crest.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I think a lot of the issues with that one is that the dimensions just aren't right.
It's horrendous.
So it's like I don't know whether it's the way the screenshot's been taken like that, but it almost feels that it's rather than being a straight image.
Looks like you took a photo of it, printed on a football.
It's one of the worst
That's why it's like
things I've ever seen in my life. How the second that got put on the screen, it's off. If they've had hundreds, why is he using that one to put doing a presentation?
I think he's just used that one because
set it on fire.
I think it's just because that was the one that was seen. So he's saying like, oh yeah, we know what
was leaked,
and we've had a bit of. But that's he said it's one of hundreds and hundreds of iterations of it that they've had. Like so,
but listen,
it doesn't help that it's on like kind of beige paper as well.
I still don't truly. I dare say it. I understand, but I wouldn't say I truly believe the reasons. If I'm being honest,
I don't think I explained the reasons very well.
Yeah, I need more.
It gave us 3 features of the club badge, why they were doing it, but it didn't give us more information as regards this club is doing this, the reason why they've done that, this is how much money they've saved by doing that, and this is a sort of advantages of what changing the club crest can do.
That's what I wanted.
Didn't give that any of that
more
information.
High level.
But they're not going to say one of the main reasons that we're going to change the badge is because it costs too much.
Why not?
To reproduce it.
But why?
Why not?
It's a way of selling what.
And we all know, right? That is 100% one of the reasons.
But I want to know that.
So if you know,
we've sat around this table and said that for years and years that we fully expect it.
But does that not make you think, right? Okay, well, if that's going to help the club out going forward, then I agree with it.
But
you will get someone going.
They have without giving away direct figures and information. They've said that. They've said it's difficult to reproduce. They've said that it causes issues when they're making the merchandise and all that kind of thing. They just haven't backed it up with facts and figures.
I think that the reason why they haven't done it is because some fans will probably think, oh, we're going to save some money on shirts. Well, it's not the case.
Exactly.
It's going to be the same price.
The manufacturers will be saving money.
Yeah.
I do agree that I think fans would maybe turn and go, I'm paying 85 quid for a top now. Why do you have to cheapen the badge? Whereas when I was a lad, mine was embroidered badge and I was paying 41.
Well, that's what people complain. How many people complain that it's a sticker or a transfer, or it's embroidered onto a patch and stuff like that.
Put that in the survey. Yeah. If we continued and only produced stickers or a patch on a club shirt, would you like to keep the same club crest? Yes.
Oh, they'll say it. Sorry, they'll say it digitally. Oh, it doesn't look right digitally. For some
that's what I wanted. I just wanted some more.
If they made like the banner at the bottom symmetrical, if they simplified the hoof and stuff like that, nobody would have even noticed. Nobody would have noticed. Yeah. The whole reason that we're having these sessions is because when the takeover went through in the fans charter, they put it down there that if we are going to make any changes to the key things, the legacy, if that was the right wording, like things, it was the stadium name, club the crest, the club colours, then we will do a fan consultation.
And I respect that.
That's what they're doing. And I think that's a lot of why they're just not coming out and saying, look, we just want to make the badge simpler, easier to recognize, easier to reproduce, make it better for using digitally and stuff like that. We're going to just refine it.
And this was
They've got to go through that consultation period.
This was phase 1 of consultation, apparently. So there will be more workshops. Will lead to.
Do you think you will be presented with 10 potential ideas?
I think there'll be 2 or 3.
You look at other clubs that have done it in recent years. I mean, Leeds was the massive one, wasn't it?
But even that wasn't.
Female boss it was, Deka. I remember that after we started recording.
Oh, was it?
That wasn't
to do that. Yeah.
Well, Villa did it.
Was Nick Laddams?
There was
somebody did it. Boxer from Leeds.
Somebody did it at the start of the season.
Female boxer.
Yeah.
Where they released
you doing about
6 different ones, and you had to rank them and say which one was your favourite. Yeah. But then other men, literally anybody could go on and vote. Yeah. So I can remember looking at it. I can't remember
that problem,
what club it is now.
Yeah.
But I actually went and that one looks the nicest and voted. It doesn't matter to me because I don't support that club. But I could have been a right dick and just picked the worst looking one.
People will be.
But I looked at them and went, that's probably the nicest one and chose it.
Yeah, no, you're right. But then you could get loads of Macklins jumping on there going, look at that state of that one.
You know what I mean? Club again? Because that'll annoy us. But yeah.
So you think that's what we're getting on? Maybe 2 or 3. These are the ideas we've got.
Yeah, and they'll give you pros of the one that they want you to pick. They'll lead you down.
Make it just for Mags Plus members.
They'll probably give you another
47 quid.
In fact, I've just remembered Dortmund do it with the kits. So they do
every year,
Dortmund do it with the kits.
Yeah, they do normally put it
where
out.
They put all the kits out to vote, and you can vote that because I've done that one as well.
I remember doing that years ago. Yeah.
I reckon so. They might do another misleading question on that one.
Yeah.
Then, so it'll be like, which one do you least like, but maybe like if
So
we
they'll probably
like it,
give you
like
one
it.
which you don't really love. But you think, oh, it's all right, and the other two will be shit.
And then you'll best like it.
No.
Well, everyone, 99% of people voted for this.
The rest
I
of us
didn't
shite.
fucking mean that.
That fucking Eddie Howe smoking a cigar on one of them.
That's why I think they'll have it 6, so that you can't just immediately say, "Oh, that one's
I don't
great."
think we're blessed with that many, mate. To be
I
fair.
think in summary, an AI summary,
That's if they were going to be changing it, though. I think.
I think it'll be 3, and I think it'll be very, very,
it's going to
hopefully
be very similar. Yeah,
very
it's gonna be
similar.
very similar. With
I
a
hope
few
it is.
tweaks.
I hope it is just a couple of refinements rather than
agree.
being an
Yep.
overall. But that all the language that they used, the stuff around the silhouette, the fact that they said that they kind of blanked out the Juve one, the 2 circular badges that we've had in my past. It all seems to be pointing towards something being like very similar to what we've got now.
And I thought blanking out that Juventus one was a great thing because I mean that is such a huge
It's a massive
difference.
departure, isn't it?
They're
Like,
basically saying we're not even
Not
going to
happening.
entertain something like that, which
Yeah.
is great. That's fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm going to go through the last question because it's also a donation from Josh. Josh has joined us. I think he fell for the fact that we're supposed to be on 8:15.
sorry, Josh.
Sorry, Josh, but hi. Thanks
That's
for your
fine.
donation. He says, sorry for the morbid question. He's directly to you, Deka, for some reason. I don't know why. Apparently, you're the only one for Netflix subscription. But he says, have you watched the new Osama bin Laden document series? I don't know why this is getting even to you.
It might be because of 9/11 that I talk about a lot.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, I watched the 9/11 conspiracy document.
Oh, okay.
Was got loose change a while ago. Hearing
unreal.
you mention it on an old pod, that's why.
I thought it was connected to the old Saudi connection there. For a minute there.
Honestly, Deka, before you answer this one,
Sorry.
I've got a nice little sub story that goes with it as well. So, me and Wallace, she'll fucking kill us for this. I was just listening, but we were searching through Netflix the other day. And just, it was the end of the night, so she was like dozing, when you doze off in between stuff and you wake up and go, I'm not asleep, like movement, that sort of phase. And I was flicking through Netflix, and she had been watching Blue Planet or Our Planet, one of those, and there was another one that came up with like suggested likes and blah 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 blah. So put on it. She went, "Is this the one that's narrated by Osama bin Laden?" Because obviously we'd been flicking through and that one came up. Do you know who it was? Barack Obama, that one.
Wow.
Sorry, Amy.
Obama, Osama. I can see where she's gone a bit wrong there.
If anyone hasn't watched it, please. Josh is saying that loose change. It's honestly one of the best things you'll ever watch. In my opinion, it's one of my favorites. That sort of sent me down the rabbit hole after that, really. But to answer the question, sorry, no, I haven't watched this. I've seen it, but I just haven't had time to watch it. Is it any good, Josh? Comment. Is it any good? I probably will watch it because obviously I'm interested in 9/11 and stuff.
I hate you, Wallace.
My lads are just coming in saying I hate you.
So I do have a final question for you gentlemen, and
This is going to be a good one.
it is. It is.
Precisely,
There was a sad moment at the weekend, but also joyful. Our good friend Dwight Gayle announced his retirement and played his last game at the weekend.
Is that Dwight Gayle that missed a chance against Man City?
That's him.
The very same, Steve Bruce's mate. So, favorite memory of Mr. Gayle in his time at Newcastle United.
Come on,
I think I know you're going to go Deka, so I'm going to pick something different.
You go Norwich.
Okay.
No,
I was going.
you're going to the Barnsley, going
Staying
down, coming up.
upstairs.
Yeah, that's game
That
of the
was an
season.
amazing moment.
Yeah,
Shout.
I mean,
That
it is.
That
but
was what straight away
Straight
came into
away.
my
I can
head
actually
was that
picture.
the one he scored against Leeds,
running over the corner.
where the ball drops, he's pretty much on the line and just prods it over and he's straight to Leeds.
Yeah.
Giving it that like,
Giving him the shush. He was a bit of a shithouse,
I
wasn't he?
love Dwight Gayle, me like yeah.
I did.
It might be
I
the
did.
2 goals he scored for Palace to stop Liverpool in the league. Actually, thinking on
Did he
in
score
2015.
the goal where the keeper slipped? He was running out and he slipped and it bounced over the keeper.
Was that Huddersfield away? Was
And
it
it
Gayle
was-
or Richie?
It was that time where everybody was doing that song.
No, was that not Darryl Murphy?
I think Murphy scored that day, but I don't think it was that one.
I'm sure it was Gayle that put it in the back of the net.
It might be.
No,
Oh,
it
in
was.
the
It
blue-
was.
blue and
Bounced
orange.
over his head.
They both scored. Murphy scored,
Murphy scored.
and then Gayle scored later on, and
Yeah.
it was that one where you mentioned. Yeah.
Huddersfield, he definitely shushed the crowd as well.
Yeah,
The Norwich game really does stand out. That
Yeah,
was
that was
an
a
when
amazing
Mitrovic got a hold of him,
game.
just dragged
Yeah,
it
yeah.
down. Like,
Parade him.
that was class. That like, I love him, mate. Dwight Gayle. I've always quite liked Hibs as well, so I was glad he went there. And they finished 3rd in the league as well. He's had a really good season up there. Yeah.
Had a nice little time up here, didn't he?
Oh, I did message
Dwight.
him to see if I could stay with him
Fantastic.
before the Oasis
Yeah.
gig in October.
Did he reply?
August, and hasn't got back to us yet. It's only been 10 months or so, like, so I might give him a little nudge. It's probably not going to be living there much.
I like Dwight Gayle, you know, like as a championship player. I know on this podcast you can go back and I'll say that he just wasn't the sort of player that could take that step up to the Premier League, and you get it. And I think he probably understood it as well.
Yeah,
I think that's probably fair to say. But it's good company. There's good players like Jermaine Beckford's one of those. Bobby Zamora. Zamora maybe did it in the Premier League a little bit. Michael Chopra probably one of players who are excellent in the Championship, but it's that big a jump to the Premier League. Darryl Murphy, David Kelly,
Adam Armstrong's
out. Yeah, that happening now. Yeah.
He did a great job at West Brom, and that he went back down to the Championship and banged in 20 odd goals for them. You know, he did the job.
He's been a really good player. I've got a lot of time for.
I think there's a lot of supporters of various clubs have got fond memories of him.
Yeah, I saw him at Wembley as well, and he had the Man U game. Obviously, was that 2 years ago? And he's left the club at this point. He wasn't on Newcastle books at all, but he was there with his kid, and his kid was on his shoulders, and the kid was in a black and white shirt.
Yeah.
And that obviously got under his skin. He's kind of
like a lot of players.
Kid
was born here and been raised the Geordie for
I love that. Like I love saying that. Like I'll always be fond of Dwight Gayle.
I've got one last question.
Okay,
it's unrelated to Newcastle United in any shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Europa League finals on Wednesday.
Yeah,
and I've never spoken to you all about it. Who is wanting to win that game?
Tottenham,
Spurs.
I want them both to lose.
Yeah, Spurs for me as well.
Yeah, Spurs for me. Yeah. And I want betters to be Chelsea as well. But
of course. Yeah. But I think it's still quite mad, isn't it? That's the Europa League final, 16th v 17th, or 15, 16, whatever.
It's still absolutely horrific that one of them will qualify for the Champions
League. The European final where we've done a double with both teams.
Yeah.
When is the Chelsea? Is the Europa League this Wednesday? So 2 days time. So when's the Chelsea one? Is that this week? That must be Thursday, is it?
I'm not sure. I probably will be actually.
Because the Champions League finals
before the end of
this weekend. No. Yeah, Champions League finals this weekend, isn't it?
I've still got no idea.
Playoff finals.
Weekend after, isn't it?
Weekend after.
Playoff 23rd, isn't it?
Yeah. 24th.
24th, sorry,
yeah.
I think I just feel, and I could be completely proved wrong on this one, but I just feel if Man United won it and then got to the Champions League, it could kickstart something financially / attraction of players. Whereas I think if Spurs do it, I don't really think they'll change.
Does that make sense?
Wolves, have they?
Yeah.
Have they signed him? Have they?
Apparently so.
Step down, isn't
getting that bad egg in there. But I feel
it's a good point actually.
It's a good player though.
He's a really good player, but he's a fucking scoundrel.
He is.
Apparently they're in first place to sign the lap as well.
I read Everton today for the lap.
Why is he kind of? Are we?
Might not be a good.
I mean, we've sat here.
Nice new stadium,
didn't we? And said he's got his pick of clubs.
Yeah, he has got his pick of clubs.
Yeah.
Man United.
He's going to get a Man United if it's Man United and Everton. As bad as Man United have been, it's still.
You would have thought
it's still them.
I'm going to end it on this one. Jules comments in saying, "Cheers, lads. Take care all, and hopefully catch up with you all at the weekend." Because she's up.
Yeah, Jules is up.
I've never actually met Jules.
You have?
I swear to God, I haven't.
I'm pretty sure you have.
Have actually?
I'm sorry, sure you have.
I don't think I have, and I'm pretty positive I haven't.
You must have.
No, I don't think I have. You've bumped into her a few times after a game,
and that's why I'm
99%
sure you've.
Nope.
I think this could go on from that. How are you just going? You have I don't think have you know.
Jules will be able to confirm or deny.
Jules, have I ever met you, Jules?
I'm pretty sure you have.
You could have been.
I don't even know if you're still watching, so we're gonna be waiting until next Monday.
By which point you probably will have.
She's coming up on Saturday.
We'll leave that on the cliffhanger, shall we?
All done.
Spicy.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody who has been watching live. It means a lot to us. Or if you're listening or watching back as well.
To steal Jules' line, make sure you like this video.
Yeah, like
Jules reminds people in the comments.
Become a subscriber. It costs you nothing to do that. If you do want to become a member, it is just $2.99 a month. It helps us out massively. You get extra content. You get stuff like what me and Deka did last week as well, which was a bit of a rundown in regards to the club Crest, which the club stole some of that.
I actually did,
Yeah, the club stole some of that. Jules has not met me. You are wrong, Mark. I thought you were on fire tonight. You didn't say anything daft.
Could have. Are you sure, Jules?
Yeah, Jules is not.
Mark's sure.
You can't argue with her as well.
Yeah, Chris and Jules both. I haven't met Mark's going. I'm sure you have.
But yeah, plenty more stuff coming your way. Keep an eye out as well, because we have been doing a pre-game show as well, which Roger and Scott have featured on the last few weeks, which have gone down really, really well.
What's the top prize?
Pre-game show.
Oh. Okay. Bye, everybody. See you next time. Love yous all. Bye.
Winner speed.